shy. You made it, kid. You're up there. Good. Good. Yeah, we'll keep sliding, keep sliding, keep sliding. All right, ready? That's about right. Okay. Renzo, come on. So let's start from our feet. We're gonna warm up with a drill. So we're not gonna actually go for takedowns. We're gonna play this as a game right now. So we're gonna have player 1, player 2. It's gonna be underhook, single leg. So I'll be player 1 right now. My job is to look for an underhook. If I get to an underhook and hold it for 3 seconds, we reset, we break off, and then it'll be my partner's turn to go for the underhook, and then I'll have the single leg, right? But you're both fighting to get into the position. So for example, if we start on our feet, let's say I'm underhook, he's single leg, I'm trying to jack up an underhook, however I am. We're not actually going over different techniques to get in there. I don't care what you do, club, circle, hook, post, whatever it takes to get into the underhook, okay? If I hold it for 3 seconds, again, we break off and we're gonna switch, all right? So if we're here, I'm underhook, he's single leg, we'll go live and we'll go like 65%, okay? If you go 100% right now, it's gonna be 3 minutes, you're gonna be exhausted, and then because we know we're going for underhooks and single legs, you're gonna have guys that are just gonna do this. And then you're gonna have guys that are just doing this so that you don't get single leg, okay? So we're just moving around, we're just warming up with this, okay? So if we go, I'm underhook, he's single leg. Catches that single leg, he's not finishing a takedown, holds it for 3 seconds, we break off. Now he's underhook, I'm single leg, but we're still going, so he's not letting me get to the position. Again, you can give him some leeway so you don't have to go crazy being, you know, in the position. So again, so now he was single leg, now I'm single leg, he's underhook. I hold it for 3 seconds, we go back, now he's single leg, I'm underhook. Go. Holds it 3 seconds, we break off, and then we switch. So we're just alternating, we're just moving around now, 75%, okay? So when you start off with your partner, you pick underhook, single leg. Whoever gets whatever first, alternate. Good, good, good. No takedowns. We're just moving. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You pick who goes first, and then work from there. Tiring? It's a little tiring? A little bit? That's good, good. All right, and 𝐬𝐮𝐬, please, on your back. All right, so now we're gonna focus on half guard again. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna work chest to chest half guard, working off of our partner's underhook, okay? We're gonna look to go crossbody. So when I say crossbody, we're gonna take usually our cross face hand, bring it across our partner's body so that we can start to attack that forearm. You guys ever watch Sean Brady, UFC fighter, welterweight? He goes into this crossbody position with everybody. He just submitted Edwards from going crossbody. And then I think he submitted 𝐾𝐿vin Gastelum from crossbody, taking that Kimura from there. So it's a really strong position if we can get there, okay? The best time to do this is off of our partner's underhook, okay? So if we're chest to chest and they have an underhook, that's a good time to go across the body and then start to set up our attacks and even use it to pass. So we're gonna use that 2-on-1 grip to free our leg, and then from there we're gonna set up a triangle from the back, but we're gonna break this up into 2 parts. So when we go across the body, so when I'm saying cross body, I wanna get my outside arm, my cross-face arm, across my partner's body so I can start to turn, sit through, and then make connection and start to attack from here, or work to free my leg, okay? Now, what I see a lot is, which I'm not a fan of, it does work in certain situations, is when a person has a knee shield, I see a lot of guys teach this, they'll go here like this, and they use this, because he has a knee shield here, they'll use this to kind of turn their hip and go across the body, which I'm not a fan of because his shoulders are off the mat, and he's kind of concaved here, so if I turn my hip hard enough, and he pulls his knees to his chest, he's gonna off balance me every time. So I see this all the time. Guys will be here like this, they try to turn their hip over, they try to bring this arm across, and he just pulls his knees to his chest, and then you get off balance in this position. So instead, if I'm thinking about going crossbody, it's already when I get past the knee and when my partner has an underhook. So if he has the underhook, we did a bunch of stuff this week off of the underhook, but if he has the underhook and I can flatten him out here, this is the perfect time to go into a crossbody position, okay? So as the top person, we wanna think about pinning our partner's shoulders and hips to the mat. If we're on bottom, we wanna take our shoulder and hip off the mat. Go ahead. This is what he wants, right? So because he has the underhook, I have to make sure that I stay low by his elbow. So anytime we're in a position, we're in half guard and I beat the knee and we're chest to chest, if he has the underhook, I stay elbow to elbow here. Now I either use my crossface or my chest to pin my partner's shoulders to the mat. And at this point is where we can go crossbody. Now if I can get an underhook from here, perfect. So if I can take my left hand out from underneath his head and go reverse crossface and then use the point of my elbow to get my underhook, that's always a great option. But it's gonna be hard sometimes, especially if he's keeping his elbow closed. So if I'm here like this and I'm trying to see all this space I'm creating, if I just lift my chest up this much, this shoulder's coming off the mat, and now we're back to square one. So instead of using that crossface and getting the underhook, we're gonna look to go crossbody. So let's say we are here, elbow over elbow, my knee past his hip, and his shoulders are flat on the mat. This hand could be a post. We were working that long crossface, so I could either post it or go crossface here. So now when I take my hand out, we're gonna go reverse crossface for a second, so this could be a pit stop, and now I'm gonna look to get two arms on the same side. So my elbow over his elbow, at the same time I bring my elbow over his elbow, I'm turning my hips, and I'm leaning on top of my partner. So with my hips here, this way, my left knee checks his hip on this side, okay? My right leg is gonna walk as close as I can towards his far hip here to keep this outside shoulder on the mat here. So if I walk my right leg this way, this hip is off the mat and he can use his butterfly hook to start to off balance me. So anytime I get into half guard, I think about getting his hip, this hip, to the mat. So I'm walking myself in this direction. At the same time, I keep my bottom knee by his hip. And now this is where we can work to make a connection with the arm. Now, if he has the underhook, this way, if he has the underhook and he's doing the correct thing, that hand will be behind my shoulder. So every time I go to reach for his wrist, it's not available. So now my back is facing the mat and then I'm off balance on this side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of put him like in a predicament where I have to free my knee and he has to address it. So when I get to here, my hand goes to his hip, my elbow goes to the inside of his knee. Now I can use that to start to push and then free my knee. So once I free my knee, if he does nothing, I start to transition into mount, okay? He has to address that by taking his hand to my knee and starting to push this right back down and then recovering back into half guard. So immediately, as soon as I push, I free my knee, he places his hand on my knee and now I can grab a hold of his wrist. Once I grab his wrist, I'm gonna look to push that hand off and then start to make a connection. So when I connect my hands, it kind of depends on where we're at. His arm is straight, like fully straight right now, okay? So if his arm is fully straight, I'll take my elbow over his elbow, start to pull my elbow back, and then look to connect my hands. If you cannot connect your hands, just take your hand and place it on top here. So let's say you have a hard time reaching, just take your hand, I'm gonna take my knuckles and I bring it right to his forearm here. And I'm gonna look to pull my leg out and then send my hips over whatever side I'm controlling this arm, on that shoulder. So when we get to here, we connect our hands, my head goes down to the mat, my hips are gonna come up. So now as my hips come up, it's over my partner's shoulder and not sitting on top of his face. So hips up, I use my bottom leg to push, take my leg out, and then immediately pin the hand towards the belly, okay? And then when we get to here, I'll just walk my hips. We create this little T-frame, walk my hips towards his head, and with this hand, I'm gluing his hand to his belly. Now, it kind of depends on what he's doing with his arm. So if we get to here, and I feel like he's walking towards me, he's trying to slip this elbow, so the goal is try to control his elbow. So if I connect my hands, my arms are a little bit looser here, so if he walks to his left, he's gonna pull his elbow down to the mat, and I lose the position. So as soon as we get to here, I straighten my arm out here like this. So now there's more control of his elbow. So when he tries to walk to his left, I can walk to your left, I can follow him and then control that elbow. And then we can always make a connection right after once I control the position. But this, turn this way. This straight arm will take his shoulder off the mat and control his elbow here, okay? If I connect my hands too early, his shoulder goes down and his elbow slips out and I start to lose the position. So you want this motion here, like this, okay? Just make a fist and I straighten this bottom arm out and then we can adjust everything right after. So just get to there and then we'll set up the attack right after. So He has the underhook. I stay by his elbow. I flatten him out, and then I walk to my right. So I'm killing this hip. If this knee stays to the inside of his hip, there's a chance of him pinching his knees and off balancing me in this direction. So I stop that by walking my knee outside the line of his hip here. And now from here, I can go reverse crossface. If I get the underhook, perfect. If not, I take this hand all the way across. At the same time, I bring my elbow to his elbow. I turn my hip over and I walk to my right. So now from here, hand goes to the hip, my elbow goes to the inside. So I see his hand right now, I can just grab it. Most likely he's gonna hide that hand behind my shoulder, so I can't grab it from here. So from here, I start to push. He goes to push my knee, we catch the wrist, and then we pin it down to the mat. I look to connect my hands. So my head goes down in line with his wrist. I start to send my hips over his shoulder, okay? And if he's doing a good job of trapping my foot, it's my shin that goes across his hips, and I'll use this to push, point my toes, and then pull my leg out. So hips over the shoulder. Right away, I straighten my arms out and I punch that hand towards his belly. So every time he tries to walk to his left, I follow him in this position, and then we can work to attack from here. One more time. So here, he has the underhook, head under the shoulder, okay? My head goes any higher than his shoulder, he's gonna jack up the underhook, and then work from here. So I stay elbow to elbow, I keep my cross face, I flatten his shoulders and his hips out, here. Now I can go reverse cross face, elbow over elbow, and then I start to turn my hips over. And it's the same thing from this position. If my elbow goes higher than his shoulder, there's no pressure on top of him, he's gonna keep jacking up the underhook. So I keep pressure by walking myself close to his hip. So I get myself closer to his wrist. But if he traps it, or if he hides that hand, push. Don't use your hand to push the knee. If I use my hand to push the knee, it's an open elbow. His free hand is gonna grab a hold of my arm, he's gonna off balance me in this direction. So we hide this hand, and I start to slip my knee. Okay, he does nothing, we go straight into mount. He has to address that by pushing it back to the inside. So if I don't do anything, he's gonna throw his legs back over, and we're back to the same position. So here, connect my hands, head down, and then just get right behind your partner. So we create this little T-frame here, and then we can set up our triangles off this position. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I know there's a lot to that. Good luck. I already forgot it. Oh, you're going the other way. Oh, you're f***ing dead. This f***ing kid is made of granite. Or walk to your right, get his shoulders to the mat. Good. Put your right hand to the inside of his hip, your elbow to the inside. This hand never lets go. If you can't, because he's hiding, Nate, hide that underhook. Take your hand, push his knee down, start to transition into mount. He has to address it. Nate, push his knee. Now, go ahead. Guys, 1 second. Let me just go over a couple things real quick. Billy, stay on your back, please. So look, this is the problem with half guard if we're on top. If I'm in half guard, I'm chest to chest with my partner, we're parallel like this. We're in 2 straight lines, okay? Which means that the bottom person can easily off balance me to move me around, just to recover to a better position. So treat half guard like side control. You have to go perpendicular with your partner. So especially if we're going crossbody, you really have to turn yourself so that you're across your partner's body. So if we're in side control, I'm directly across his body. So we create this T here. He decides to roll me to his left, I can post my hands here. So when I'm in half guard and I sit through, let's get that underhook because we're off the underhook, it's this. So like I'm in side control. It's the same exact position, but he has my leg trapped. So my head isn't up here, my arm isn't above his shoulder because now we're in a straight line. I'm off balance in both directions. He can bridge me this way, he can knee lever me the opposite way. So I have to make sure that I'm doing this so that we create this T here. So we're perpendicular from this position. And then from here, then I can work to start to expose that wrist. So you're creating a dilemma here. It's either we get to the wrist perfect, then I can start to pin that hand down. Guys, nobody's gonna let you just pin that hand down to the mat. So what's gonna happen, as soon as you get that grip, he understands that his hand has to go in front of his belly. The only way he defends and fights for this position is if he keeps his hand in front of his belly. If, for whatever reason, I can punch the hand straight down to the mat, there's no way, like as soon as I connect my hands, he should be able to punch his hand back up and here. So this is what's gonna happen. Realistically, this is what's gonna happen. And then I can bring my head down, use my free knee to pull, and then we get to here. Now you can keep your hands connected. So if you feel like the person isn't slipping their elbow, right? For whatever reason, they're just staying here, I just punch his hand to his belly and I straighten my arms out. If I feel like he's moving his hips towards me, then I straighten my arm out so it takes his shoulder off the mat. Okay, but at some point he will be able to come up to his hip and knee, and that's when we can start to attack. Okay? So just fix those things real quick. We're gonna go a minute and a half and then we'll start. Yeah.
Is there a small detail about the leg being entangled like the lock it in?
About like extracting our leg out, pulling our leg out?
Go ahead.
So once we get to here and I connect my hands, if I feel like he has a good bite, so there's like two things that happen. It's either the person's gonna wanna bridge and throw you off, and that's a perfect time to just throw your leg out. If I feel like that's not happening and they have a good bite on my leg, my head goes down and that creates space for my left knee to get inside. So I have a block in front of his legs. So now all I have to do is pull my top leg out as I scissor my bottom leg, and I'm pointing my toes. So I don't flex my foot, otherwise the laces of my foot run into his. I point my toes, and then I pull my leg out. Then my hips come up, so all the weight goes into my shoulder, my hips come up here. Don't land like this, otherwise the elbow slips and he turns into me. So you're creating that T-frame here so that you can always follow the hips right after. Okay, another 2 minutes, ready? 1, 2, 3. So get over here. Okay, so now let's set up the attack from here. So we're gonna go into the triangle. We did this Monday, so we're gonna review this. We're gonna go right into the triangle from here. So once we extract our leg, pull it out, we get our hips over our partner's shoulder. Make sure that you create that T-frame. Don't keep your legs directly in line with your partner. You don't wanna be in a straight line because that elbow will slip. So try to get your hips under your partner's head as best as you can. So when we get to here, let's just here like this. Come back. Perfect. So we get to here, I flop over, we end up here. So my hands are connected, depends what he's doing with his arm. If he's not doing anything, I'll connect my hands here. Just so you guys understand too, guys, with your hand placement, some of you guys asking like, do I use my thumb, do I not use my thumb? If I want to control his wrist, I use my thumb. Okay, so if I want to control his wrist and stop him from pummeling his hand out, I'll use my thumb. But if I'm attacking like a Kimura and I need more power to push, then I'll switch off and then throw my thumbs on top so I can rotate my wrist and then start to work his hand behind his back. But for right now, I'll just keep my thumbs around my own wrist here and around his wrist from this position. So now when we get to here, he only has one option when it comes to coming up, right? So he can't move to his right. If he moves to his right, just get up to your knees to your right. Yes, I can use this grip to pull his shoulder right back down. So he can only turn to his left. So when he goes to turn to his left, I straighten my arms out. As he goes to turn to his left, I come up to his knees, get ahead. My left knee goes inside the pocket of his hip. So I take my bottom knee and I bring it to the inside of the pocket of the hip, and we're gonna look to set up our triangle arm bar from here, okay? So now from here, my right leg is gonna go directly over his shoulder. Now there's some guys, just keep this in mind, there's some guys that are like really aware of this, and they'll unlock their hands and they'll start to lift their right arm up because he understands I'm trying to do this. If that ever happens, just throw your hook in. Okay, so we were doing a drill this morning, everybody was trying to do the triangle, and all the guys were doing this. Just throw your hook in and then take the back, okay? But let's just assume in this situation he kept his arm down. So my right leg goes directly over his shoulder and I bring my heel to his hand here. Now I'm using both my heel and my hands to pull and push to strip whatever grip he has. And then once I strip the grip, I'm gonna weigh heavy on this right side so that I can start to turn to my right hip and take my left knee up to the ceiling to go into the triangle. At the same time I do that, I'm using this 2-on-1 grip and I'm pulling his arm behind his head. So it looks like this. I clamp down, I'm pulling his arm behind his head, and I'm turning everything over to this side. Let's turn this way. So once we, just lay your legs flat. Once we get into the triangle and I'm pulling his arm over, I have to make an adjustment where this right leg goes directly across his neck. So if you feel like you have to unlock your hands and use your hand to assist, then use your hand, okay? If you feel like your legs are long enough, you can just lock your figure four, but what's important here, especially if his hands are disconnected, is not letting him grab my heel. So when I get to here, if I just leave my legs open, he's gonna grab my heel and he's gonna split my legs. So in that transition, when I'm bringing him over, I take my left knee and I cover my heel. So then when he goes to grab a hold of my heel, I can just lock my figure four real quick. The laces of my foot will go behind his hip, and I use this to push his hip down and slide into the position. So I'm laying on my right hip, I'm laying on my right shoulder. When I look to finish the triangle, it's my knee and my partner's ear in a straight line. I'm looking to scissor my legs. So from here, I'm pushing my left knee into his shoulder, and then I'm extending my bottom leg to scissor. So I'm not just squeezing, I'm scissoring my legs here, and then looking for the triangle choke from that position, okay? So scissoring the legs to finish. If I have a hard time finishing from here, I'm trying, maybe there's too much space, then we go directly into the arm lock. So I have his left elbow, I'm gonna look to bring his left elbow towards my left hip. Some guys are kind of flexible in this position. So if I get to here and I'm pulling and nothing's happening from this position, I unlock my figure four and I just slide my leg up towards his elbow. So it's this, here. So I unlock, and now from here I pinch, and then finish the arm lock from here. Otherwise, if I stay here, there's nothing blocking his elbow. You can finish it at some point, especially if he's moving and turning around. It might be kind of hard, so I just slide my knee up and then finish. Again.
When you break the Kimura grip, when you have the Kimura grip, is that, what is it, the thunder lock, is that there as well?
Yeah, so I went over that this morning too. I find the Kimura grip, when I get to that position, I have a hard time pulling from there because my palms are facing down. Okay, so that what I like to do is, I'll show you in a second, is I'll get to the elbow and the wrist and then pull. You're not necessarily gonna get that shoulder lock because you're too high up. If you were closer towards the hips, you'll probably get that shoulder lock, but that grip itself is good to pull the hand behind the head. So we get to here, end up on top, I straighten the arms out. He starts to turn to his left towards that 2-on-1 grip, and I slide my knee to the inside. I throw my leg over. Once I throw my leg over, if he has his hands connected, make sure your heel finds that wrist. So I'm looking to pull and then break that grip. So this is what I was saying, that I find sometimes this is hard to pull this up and get this behind the head. So I'll unlock my hands and take my hand here so that my forearm is directly underneath his elbow or above his elbow here, and I go wrist to wrist. So now when he goes to pull his arm down, I can use this to pull his arm behind his head. So I clamp heavy with my right leg and I point my knee up. And because I'm pulling his arm behind his back like this, most guys bridge, and it makes it easier for me to turn. And now once I turn, I can catch my shin, lock my figure four, and then start to use my foot. See how he's on his side? See how like stay in your, turn to your right side. That's your flat, right side. Perfect. Then I don't have to use the laces of my foot to make an adjustment. If he's completely flat, I'll use the laces of my foot behind his hip and then start to slide myself down a little bit. And now from here, we can scissor the legs, look to finish. If I can't finish there, we catch the wrist, and I just slide my knee up. So I'm putting a block directly behind his elbow, and then we finish the armbar from there. So for time, let's go through the whole thing. So here, he has the underhook, flatten him out. Reverse crossface, I'll try to get the underhook. Maybe I can't because his elbow's closed. Elbow to elbow, turn my hip, and I'm walking to my right, trying to keep this hip flat. So from here, push, he goes to grab a hold or push my knee down, I catch his wrist, and we get to here. If I can punch his hand down to the mat, perfect. Okay, if not, punch his hand in, head down, free my leg, and I move my hips towards him here. So I can straighten my arm out. As he starts to turn to his left, my knee inside the pocket of his hip, and my leg directly over his shoulder. If he decides to defend by straightening his arm, bring it over his head, just throw your hook in, okay? If he keeps his hands connected, over, break the grip, bring the hand behind his head. As I do this, I'm falling to my right side, and I'm pointing my left knee up towards the ceiling. Now my foot comes out, and from here you have to hide your heels. Let's go this way. So once I get to here, because his hands are disconnected, once I get to here, just cover. And then I can lock my figure 4, make my adjustments, finish that triangle, or go arm bar. Okay, let's go 2 and 2. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You like that?
I don't have. See, I don't know where.